can tell that a 635 at 102.27. Gentlemen, if we get yourself together, we want to go into this. It should be marked number 3. That's the Pro Fuel bike, Paul Warner, out of Deer Park, Wisconsin. Now, he wasn't here July 12th. There's a brand new one from today. This is the one we were telling you before. It's got the brand new 130 cubic inch engine in it. Now, they had a 121 incher, which is made up by a 3 13/16 bore and a 5 1/4 inch stroke. They put another 1/4 of an inch on the arm, big long arm, 5 1/2 inches now. This one's sponsored by the Oldham Metal Works out of Madison, Wisconsin, Pro ET Racing out of Madison, Roland Racing out of Spring Park, Minnesota, Alvin Eisenberg, the attorney up in Milwaukee that keeps them from being handcuffed to Galena, Illinois, Mad City Cycle out of Madison, Wisconsin, and Doc's Harley Davidson. 8 cubic inch Sportster. Mike Hunter, same people coming out of Madison, Wisconsin, Motorcycle Performance, Pro ET Racing, Mad City Cycle, Mad City Racing. Tensor Tech tunes the engine on this one, by the way, out of Madison, Wisconsin. They tell me the bike is for sale here, too. Evidently, they're going into a bigger machine. This is a 108-inch Sportster. Anybody looking for? 108 cubic inches of 1992 Evolution Sportster, carbureting nitro for fuel. No transmission in this single speed. Up there, 117.49 in 5.75 seconds. Lane to number 406 machine, Rob Machine Tool, MC Custom Services, JR Engineering, S&S, and Screamin' Eagle sponsoring this bike. 92 cubic inches of 85 Sportster, 5 1/4 inch stroke, 3 3/16 bore. If you're looking from the side, you'll probably be able to tell the difference in the jugs. You can tell that the bore on these things, you'll see a very visual 1/4 of an inch difference in the bore, especially something like a 1/2 inch where you're looking at the 3 13/16 compared to a 3 13/16. Get himself all kinds of stuff. Now, we're not too sure, it's not on his text sheet what the heck he's got, but we're assuming that's the normal one on a 96 inch or 3 1/2 inch bore, 5 inch stroke. Don Mullenbrock, they call him Brains. He's out of Calbo's Performance Cycle in Joliet, Illinois, with a 110 cubic inch Sportster. Both of these are Sportster motors now. 110 in the left lane, 96 in the right. Bob Sutherland in that right lane from Country Club Hills, Illinois. Don Mullenbrock from Joliet, Illinois, the number 22 entry in the left lane. Both of them running nitro again. You wonder how these motors stay together. Single speed bikes now. They don't sound like Harley Davidsons at this point. You start tipping the can of nitro to them, and they're probably running 92, 93% nitro. They cut it with metal. See when he twists that throttle, how he twists that throttle, how the back wheel just hooks up. It's a slipper clutch on there connected to what they call a jack shaft, which is probably just an inch and 1/4 shaft. Sutherland is there first in the 591. 112.78. Better in this little bit of a warm-up lap before her pass. 584 for Mullenbrock in the left lane at 118.11. Kinds of records and all kinds of stuff. This here is Mike Romine. Now, Mike Romine runs a single engine, a top fuel bike. Today he's running the Kevin Carey entry. He's piloting the bike for Kevin Carey. The reason he's doing that is because he's the guy that built the bike. He's the guy that built the motorcycle, and of course there's no better way to figure out how this thing is running if you built it other than ride the thing. So that's what you got right now. That's running all over Tennessee now in the fours, right out of the trailer usually. This is Rick Salmons. They come out of Nashville, Tennessee in the right-hand lane. R&B Cycles out of Nashville, Tennessee sponsored the bike. We were looking for something 5-1, maybe 5-2 right out of the box. We're real lucky. We may see a 4-second pass out of this bike. This is one of the fastest direct gear bikes right now in the United States. R&B Cycles out of Nashville, Tennessee. Hertz Garage out of Nashville, Tennessee. Orangeburg Cycles, S&S Cycles, and Barnett sponsors the bike. Kevin Carey's machine on a big twin cycle with micro mine in the saddle of it in the left-hand lane. This is up there 120 some cubic inches. The one in the right lane is 120. They're both evolutions. That's a 92 in the left. Oh, they're both 92 evolutions. He does it. He's still down there first at 533, 132 miles an hour. 132.35, a 533, and that's after he picked it up in the air and almost took it off the track. Had that front wheel up in the air, had it all cocked. He laid over to the left if you watch him, brought the bike back down. He could get off the throttle a little bit by doing that. You transfer weight to the front end, put the wheel back on the ground, and then steered it back to the middle of the track. Still did a 533 at 132.35. Micro mine in that left lane doing a 550 at 122.95. I'll tell you what, Rick Salmons from Nashville, Tennessee in the right-hand lane, if they get themselves a good, clean, straight pass today, that's a motorcycle to watch. A 533, 132.35 miles an hour. After he did that wheelie, almost took himself off the track, put it on the ground, straightened it back out, and re-steered it right through that 660 feet. Still got down there doing 132 miles an hour. How'd you like to take that one off the job and go home with that one after work? Boy, you could clear the driveway before they knew who the hell it was, wouldn't it? The 79 Sportster, Sullenberg's Incorporated sponsored the bike. That's the maroon one. Number 807 is marked. Rob Tillison, the pilot. John Hyde in the right-hand lane for Franklin, Wisconsin. Now check this out. This is an older Yetman frame. It's a 1969 Sportster, 86 cubic inches. We're talking about the slipper clutches and the jack shafts and what have you. This is an older Sportster. This got a hand clutch in it and just a high gear in the transmission right now. It's sponsored by R&B Harley Davidson out of Racine, Wisconsin. Milwaukee Big Twin and S&S. There's a little bit of nostalgia right there in the right-hand lane. The number 807 entry, again, we were telling you, comes out of Sullenberg's Incorporated. Rob Tillison, the pilot, out of Shelbyville, Indiana. That's 100 cubic inches. The one in the right-hand lane, 86. Both of them carbureting nitro for fuel. Both of them single speed. Oh, in the right-hand lane, guess what? 652 at a 108.95 for John Hyde. 635 in the left lane for Rob Tillison at 103.44.
John.
Out of Worth, Illinois, this is Bill Gilbert now, rolling racing out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. This is Black Thunder. They've been working on this one all along now, this 924 machine. Every time it shows up, it's a brand new one again. I mean, they're taking it apart, they're doing a little bit on it, putting it back together again, doing a little bit more. Here comes today's version of it. It's a 96. Whoa, Bill, look at this thing come out of the box. My goodness. 96 cubic inch, 76 iron head, 40 now. That's one of those 3.5 inch, 4 or 5 inch strokers like we're telling you about. Bill Gilbert, the pilot. That sounds really healthy today. Let's see what this one does. There's dampers that keep the front end from getting wobbly on him. He needs it to steer with, but of course, if they're in a straight line, you give him a twist and it sort of tightens up the front end. Sort of like on the old Springers, the knob on the top where you twist it up. These things here, there are dampers that keep the front end from moving too fast on them. And of course, there's not too much play in that anyway. There's stops on there that you can't make himself a left or right-hand turn. Sounds like an airplane goes through the traps at 100. seconds, 575. 123.28. Bill Gilbert out of Worth, Illinois. Oaklawn, Illinois. This is 108 cubic inch shovelhead. That 3 13/16 bore now on the big twin, 3 13/16 bore, but this is a shorter stroke. It's 4 3/4. When you get out there to that 5-inch stroke, we're looking at 114 cubic inches. I think it's really monstrous after that. This is a shorter 4 3/4 stroke, 3 13/16 bore. That comes out to 108 cubic inches of shovelhead. Carbureting nitro for fuel, and once again, about a 300 horsepower Harley Davidson, sponsored by the Weekend Frame Company, American Performance, Vans Customs, Burbank Auto and Truck, and Oaklawn Harley Owners Group. Oaklawn Harley Davidson, brand new facility they're in now. You see one of the Nielsen brothers on the line now, pit crewing for the Bob Buckley bike. He's a wrench out of Oaklawn Harley Davidson. Warmed and he burned over. They warm up that traction compound. They try to get right back on top of it. It should be a lot warmer than what the sun's doing, and it should be, well, that's where the traction is, but watch that tire. It's still going to spin. This bike puts on a lot of horsepower. It's 108 cubic inches. It's running on nitro. Once again, the Pro Fuel class is single speed, carbureting nitro for fuel. He's going to be up there in the 120 mile an hour range, 571, 121.95, 5719, 121.95. Bob Buckley out of Oaklawn, Illinois. The Oaklawn Harley Owners Group and Weekend Frame Company sponsoring the bike. Kalamazoo, Michigan. John Pankos, we're going to check him out now. John Pankos did a 614 last time he was here. He's out of Kalamazoo. They tell us they really worked on the bike. They feel it can do a lot better than that 614. We'll see now. It's a 96 cubic inch, 3 5/8 by 5-inch bore. Well, it should make a little bit over 96 cubic inches. He should be up there, well, near 100 on this thing. It's a 74 Sportster. Sounds good today. Sounds a lot better than it did last time he was on here. That's one to watch possibly. H&D Custom sponsors the bike. Shamrock Tool. Perry Racing, Massey's Lakewood sponsors the bike. John Pankos, the pilot. He comes out of the city of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Let's see, 611 at 109.22. Last one or one before the last. Paul Warner comes out of Deer Park, Wisconsin. Keep an eyeball on this one. This guy carries the national number 3 plate on this one. This is where he finished in 1991 nationally, number 3. This is the one we were telling you before. He took a maiden voyage on it, 130 cubic incher. This comes out of Mad City Cycle. The guy running down the track, they call him Corn. His name is Mike Wygant. That's the boss. Sounded good. Mike's the guy that got a lot of his cash into this one. This one's sponsored by the Old Hand Metal Works, Madison, Wisconsin. Pro AT Racing, Madison. Roland Racing out of Spring Park. That Alvin Eisenberg attorney again out of Milwaukee. S&S Products. Power Up Lubricants out of Lena, Illinois. Doc's Harley Davidson in Shawano, Wisconsin. Aero Quick Car Coat. These guys are just like the fuel guys. They keep a nice shine on that thing, hoping the wind goes over it. Aero Quip. R&M Motor Lines out of Fruitland, Idaho. I love the name of that town, Fruitland, Idaho. On that one, he's in the 554, 122 miles an hour, 121.95, 543. Left lane with the 78 Sportster, the 85 Sportster in the right lane, Mike Gustafson. Look at the seat on Don Mullenbrock's bike in left. You think he'd slide up over the top of that fender. We've seen guys actually roll up duct tape inside out, sticking on their butt, put it on the fender so they don't slide. Mullenbrock here he goes. 111.38. 885 for Mike Gustafson at 87.89 in the right lane. Shelbyville, Indiana, that's the number 807 machine. 100 cubic inches of 79 Sportster, Sullenberg's Incorporated sponsoring the bike. And one of the fastest ones going right now in the United States. This one, well, let's see, he might get in the fours. He's a consistent forerunner down an 8-mile track. Rick Salmons, he did himself a 5.2 or 5.3 before. This is 120 cubic inch 92 Evolution R&B Cycles out of Nashville, Tennessee. Hertz Garage out of Nashville, Tennessee. Orangeburg Cycles out of the Carolinas. S&S Cycles and Barnett sponsored the bike. 92 Evolution, 120 cubic inches big. 100 cubic inches in the right-hand lane, a 79 Sportster from Sullenberg. Yo, what happened there? Looks like Bob Tillison's going to be taking the pass. We don't know if the bike is hurt or not. They might be able to refire it. Might have just killed it. Might have took fire out of it. Looked like it might have starved out here. We see it tilted a little bit into the line. Looked like the line went dry on him, and that was the end of the fuel. That's what happened. They'll be able to maybe start this one because they might not have no nitro in there. Usually you have to pull the plugs and purge it and what have you. So it looks like Rob Tillison will be making the pass by himself. Looks like there's no damage to the bike. Looks like he ran it out of fuel for some reason. Might have had the fuel off. He might have starved it out. He wouldn't admit to that, though, would he? No, professionals don't do that. Only guys that ride on the street. Cylinder, single gear, 607, 116.58. Cagromine holds a double record right now with the two Sportsters for quarter mile, a 779 ET. Cagromine out of Sturgis, Michigan. This here is Micromine. Micromine, he is running Kevin Carey's bike, that 1990 Evolution that the 91 Evolution they built. It's a 125-incher. That's Jack Romine, the double rider on the line right now. The whole Romine family here today. Pat Romine pushing back. That's the Carey bike, though, from Big Twin Cycle in Kalamazoo. Romine Racing out of Sturgis, Michigan, and Hunt's Hog Shop along in Lansing, Michigan, also sponsored the bike. You'll see Hunt's Hog Shop on the AMRA sign on the track today. They're helping sponsor today's event at the Avilla Dragway also. John Hyde with the number 471 machine now is going to come up right alongside of him. So we're going to see two of them run together. John Hyde is on the older machine. It's an 86 cubic inch 69. Now check it out. In 1991 in the right-hand lane, you can see what happened here as time has progressed. See how low this weekend company frame is. Look where the pilot sits below the rear head. And you'll see on John Hyde's bike, he's up there. 121.95. Height goes through a 639 and 104.89. Last time he was out, he did a 611 now. They told us they got this bike dialed in. Let's see what it does this time. John Pan goes with that 124 machine. He's out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's a 1974 Sportster running nitro, carbureting it. It's a 96 cubic incher. H&D Custom, Shamrock Tool, Perry Racing, Massey's, Lakewood sponsoring the bike. 1974 Sportster. Does it sound like a Sportster? Not at all. No vapor or anything. It'll go into that bottle. It keeps it from dripping on the track. Okay, they're not force feeding it with something. That's anything that blows by that goes into that bottle or the beer can. Catch can, we call it a puke can. 621, 118.70. Fired it back up. Now let's see if they keep fuel in the line this time. Ooh, you can see a little bit of a yellow color in that clear line. See the size of that big clear line that's hanging on that carburetor? I'll tell you what, these bikes will swallow a gallon of fuel in a quarter mile, maybe 3/4 of a gallon in an eighth mile. There is some big lines on these motorcycles that bring fuel in. There are other lines that go by ours when too much fuel goes in, so they'll recycle and go back into the tank. Some big lines in there. We saw it go dry before. He just ran flat out of fuel on it. That's that 92 Evolution, 120 cubic inches big from R&B Cycles in Nashville, Tennessee. R&B Cycles, Rick Salmon's on the bike. The number 5 machine is Mike Hunter. Yeah, they're getting fuel in that one now in the left lane. Mike Hunter in the right lane, Madison, Wisconsin. That one's 108 cubic inches of 1992 Sportster. Evolution, both of them. Pro ET Racing, Motorcycle Performance out of Madison, Wisconsin. Mad City Cycle out of Madison, Wisconsin. Mad City Racing. The engine's tuned by Tensor Tech on this one out of Madison. S&S Cycle. Messner Landscape Maintenance out of Madison. The new Wisconsin Inn, I'll bet you that's where they go after the event. That's in Madison, Wisconsin. Alvin Eisenberg, the attorney in Milwaukee. You want to sell this bike? Anybody looking for a ready-made one? Right lane, that one is for sale. That's a 92 Sportster. They want to put a real big one together, evidently. They're going to a real big one. It's a 92 Sportster in Evolution, 108 cubic inches big. Rick Salmons with that 92 in left lane. That's a big national record-holding bike right now. I don't think they want to sell it. Pull it back. Almost in a Force, though. Can you dig it? A 5-1. A 5-1-3-0 in that left lane. just up in the air, sideways, putting it back on the ground. Right lane showing us a 6-1. A 6-1-8 now at 85. Him again tilted, the front end cock, put it back on the ground, wrestled it back straight, and still went through almost in the 4-second bracket. A 5-1-3 at 136 miles an hour. That's a fast machine. The Warren Custom Plating Double up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina at the beginning of August. Rear engine let go, come up, bent the bike in half. That bike is off the circuit for the rest of the year. Punched him right in the chest, knocked him right off the bike, knocked him out. He laid there for a little bit till the ambulance got to him. As the ambulance got to him, he stood up, he woke up, stood up and shook it off and snuggled back in the pit area. It took him about 3 weeks, I think, to heal up from that one. That's the guy that's on the bike right now, John Markwell. He's out of Andover, Minnesota. Now this is his bike, the single engine bike. Yeah, that one is a cooker. You watch this one. It is 120 cubic inches of 1991 Evolution. Big 5.25 inch arm on that one. Tell me, they're putting this together on the truck on the way down here. This is a brand new motor. Brand new motor on this one. Brand new one. Oh, this is amazing. Stage 522, 135 miles an hour, 134.32. A 522, that's the way to break in a motor. Yes, sir, a 5 big 3 and 13/16 Sport as they put on the big twins. The Weekend Frame Company, American Performance Vans Custom, Burbank Auto and Truck, and the Oaklawn Harley Owners Group sponsored the bike. That's the guy that's on the front half of that. Well, how we started out. Oh, we got a loose pipe and the pit crew sees that too. You see it there, guys? He's going, what's he gonna do? Take it down the line. He shut it down. He saw it too. Knocked the pipe right off it when he came out of the burnt box. That's the guy that's on the first couple of seconds of the Awesome Factor tape. If you got your program, we were telling you the program they're giving out this morning. You see the Awesome Factor tape that the company sells. It's in Park, Minnesota.
Mad City.
Mad City Cycle. Doc's Harley Davidson in Shawano, Wisconsin. Aero Quick Car Coat. The R&M Motor Lines. It's a trucking company out of Fruitland, Idaho. Crane Cams, Jim Moran Machine out of Madison, and Mike Hunter and Gene Rafferty all have their hands in this motorcycle. The 924 machine comes out of Worth, Illinois, in the left lane. That's Bill Gilbert. Bill Gilbert in that left lane. It's a 96 cubic inch Sportster. Neither one of them sound like a Sportster or a big twin. That's an Ironhead Sportster on the left lane. 96 cubic inches big. It's a 76. Roland Racing sponsors that bike also out of Minneapolis. They call that one Black Thunder. That one's running real good today. Bill Gilbert, the pilot from Worth, Illinois. Paul Warner carrying that national number 3 plate. That was a little show of how good I can put a motor together, sir. First, Paul Warner, a 555. Gilbert right behind him with a 569. That's running fine. Warner goes through at 129.68. A 555 at 129.68. Bill Gilbert, a 569 at 127.47. Both of them single gear bikes, both of them carbureting nitro.
Take care of your oils, take care of the fuel, get that pipe. We got time now. Man, this fucking bike, boy.
Nashville, Tennessee, and this is a bike that runs in the 4-second, pretty consistent. They're out of Nashville, Tennessee. Hertz Garage out of Nashville, Tennessee sponsored the bike. Orangeburg Cycles, SNS Cycles, and Barnett. This is a 1992 Evolution. It is 120 cubic inches big. This bike puts out approximately 300 horsepower on nitro. These machines, the first class of machines, are pro fuel bikes, have no transmission in them. They run jack shaft or single speed. The only one that does have a transmission today is John Height, that runs a Sportster gearbox with just the high gear into it and a clutch on it. Now that's a little nostalgia thing, but right now we're going to look at a 1992 Evolution on the buy run. 120 cubic inches big now. That's a 60 cubic inch Sportster 8-cylinder. Think about it. A 1992 in a Truett frame running Line Weber cams. Back in the last issue, this is the one that down in Tennessee there is banging away in the 4.9s all day long. Rick Salmon's Nashville, Tennessee, 120 cubic inch Evolution. Tell you what, this bike is so new, you don't even see paint on the back fender yet. This is the frame's all painted, the back fender hasn't even had paint on it yet. Yeah, they don't sound like Harley Davidsons when you pour the nitro to them. These guys run quite a charge. Down in Tennessee, they tried the 100%. It doesn't work as good as cutting it with a couple of percent of methanol, does it? Yeah, you guys know that too now. I'll tell you what, though, they got this thing down pat. Watch that stripe on the back tire. They'll watch that for excessive spin and different things that they watch with that lineup. That's what it's for. These tires are marked. They can watch. Got that grasp on the edge. He went through on a 6-second pass. And I'll tell you what, pull himself to the right. He had a lot of wheel. These guys know how to ride. Put the weight on that front wheel. Push that bike right back over a couple of feet to the left again. Got back on the throttle and put it right through the trap. Still did himself a 6-second pass after all. The number 124 machine from Kalamazoo runs Robert Buckley. The number 157 machine from Oak Lawn, Illinois. All of one of these guys go to the next round. We start cutting them right now. For the next 12 machines, only 6 are going to survive the first cut. Bob Buckley to 157, opposite the tower, the Weekend Frame Company, American Performance, Vans Customs, Burbank Auto and Truck, Oak Lawn, Harley Owners Group sponsoring the bike. 108 cubic inch shovel, carbureting nitro for fuel, John Pankos, Kalamazoo, Michigan, tower side. 1974 Sportster, 96 cubic inches. Craig Harrington, the crew chief on that bike. H&D Custom sponsors the bike. Shamrock Tool, Perry Racing, and Massey's Lakewood. 96 cubic inches in the right lane, 108 cubic inches in the left lane. Oh yeah, another 12 cubic inches means a lot. 6 cubic inches in each cylinder. We know some bigger machine in the left lane. We're looking at a Sportster in the right lane. It might have the edge because they wind up a little bit faster than the big twins. But we got cubic inches dominating the left lane. It's a 108 cubic inch shovel left lane. We're looking at the 74 Sportster, also a shovel head in the right lane, 96 cubic inches. Free stage, both lanes, they're gone. The big incher already leads the way. Goes straight to 583, 119 miles an hour. 118.73 in the left lane, 622 with 122.95 in the right lane. A faster mile an hour, a lower ET. The faster mile an hour bike gets to watch the rest from the sidelines. And John Pankos. Yep. People retrieved it. And aboard the number 11-12 entry, Micro Mine gets to run Mike Hunter this time. The number 5 plate holder, Micro Mine running Kevin Carey's bike in Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's the one owned by Big Twin Cycle out of Kalamazoo. Romine Racing tunes it and built it. Hunt's Hog Shop in Lansing, Michigan, the sponsor on our board in the middle of the track. You see also sponsors the bike. Mike Hunter out of Madison, Wisconsin aboard the number 5 national entry. It's a 92 Sportster, Evolution Sportster, 108 cubic inches. Big Pro ET Racing, Motorcycle Performance in Madison, Wisconsin. Mad City Cycle, Madison, Wisconsin, Mad City Racing. Tensor Tech, S&S Cycle. Messon Landscape Maintenance out of Madison, Wisconsin, New Wisconsin Inn. And Alvin Eisenberg sponsored the bike. This is the one they're selling, the one in the right-hand lane. They said they want to build a new one. This is the number 5 plate holder for 1991. The Pro Fueler Mike Hunter, the pilot. Miles an hour, 5282, 131.96. Right lane showing us a 6015 at 106.63. Just not good enough for the number 5 plate holder, Mike Hunter. Micro Mike comes back, so the battle of the Mikes leaves Micro Mike going into the next round. Left lane, this will be Bill Gilbert. He's got a Truett frame. You see the top member of that frame, that big tube, that's also a fuel tank. It holds a nitro in it. John Haidt now with the Edmund frame has a smaller tank that's right. Well, it should be right underneath the neck of the bike, and that's where it holds his fuel. John Haidt from Franklin, Wisconsin. Now the Bill Gilbert frame, the Truett frame, it's one of the members of the frame. The member of the frame is also the fuel tank. Some of these bikes actually carry air for the air shifters in those frames. I see a little nipple sticking out of that frame, and pressurize the frame to run the air shifter on it. This frame on the left right now is carrying the nitro in the top member. That's why it's so big. And you see the one underneath the tower right now. You see the little fuel tank that's right behind the front neck of the Edmund frame. That's where the nitro is on this bike. The later frame now, the Truett frame in the left-hand lane, like we're telling you, the top frame member itself is the tank. John Haidt, right lane, sponsored by R&B Harley Davidson out of Racine, Wisconsin, Milwaukee Big Twin, and S&S. Bill Gilbert from Roland Racing out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. They call that bike Black Thunder. Black Thunder is the name of the bike. Aston Martin does the 573 and 122.61. The Haidt machine starts at 626 and 112.21. That's where, when you get a little bit older, a little bit more experience. Number 22 entry, it's 110 cubic inch Sportster. Both of them Sportsters. 120. Up on. Sponsored by AAA Striping, ATS Steels, Science by Design, Randy Baber's Performance Technology. And if you look at the wheel on the back of that bike, the RB Performance Technology does carbon fiber parts. It's a carbon fiber back wheel on that bike. It's not steel, not aluminum, not magnesium. Weighs very little. Probably the whole wheel with the tire and everything weighs 10 pounds. Yeah, see that one spinning that light tire right now? We picked up a couple of those wheels. Even with the sprocket and the hub and the disc for the brake on, they'll weigh around 10 pounds, including the tire. They're so light. That's space age carbon fiber the wheel's made out of. See how low behind that jugs they are? But these frames, at 132 miles an hour, 131.96, a 529. Don Mullenbrock in the right lane, a 562. At 118.73, just not good enough. Don gets to watch John Markwell come back from the route. Also out of Madison, Roland Racing out of Spring Park, Minnesota. Elvin Eisenberg, the attorney out of Milwaukee, and S&S Products out of Viola, Wisconsin, and Power Up Lubricants from Bleed, Illinois, also sponsoring the bike. That's the one marked number 3. He'll be on the spectator side, and you can't miss that bike because of the colors on it. Rob Tillison from Shelbyville, Indiana, carrying the number 807 plate, is a 1979 Sportster. This one is 100 cubic inches big. Sullenberg's Incorporated sponsors the bike. Frame on the bike on the left that Paul Warner's on is built by the Oldham Metal Works. We were talking about nitro tanks and different things before. You see both of these frames are carrying the nitro tank, just where the frame meets the neck. You'll see the little triangular tank underneath it. That's the tank they're pouring the nitro in. That's where all the lines come out of. That one's full of the stuff. Filler head bikes for sale. They sounded something ridiculously cheap too, he says. Three stage right and left. That's the top bulbs waiting for the bottom ones to go. Three stage on the left, looking for the bulb stage on the right. Good clean start. Both of them with the green light. And Lucas. Warner goes through at a 5:47 at 129.68 at 5:47, 129.68, 6:01 in the right lane at 115.08. That's just not good. Used to carry a smaller motor in it. They just built a new one, a 96 cubic incher. It's a 74 Sportster. He's off in the, well, it's not brown, it's red. I was lying. That's the 90. The 92 carries a red, well, orange, white, yellow. Take a good look at that bike. There's nothing in there. Either the frame and the engine and the transmission. There's no leftover parts. One of the cleanest bikes we've seen anywhere. Mike Gustafson from Newaygo, Michigan, with the 406 Pro fueler in the right lane. They've been having trouble today. Sound like the clutch hooking up. Sounds a little tighter now. I don't know what kind of problem they've been having. Rob Machine Tool, MC Custom Services, JR Engineering, SNS, and Screaming Eagle sponsored the bike. That's a Screaming Eagle sponsored the bike. Bob Sutherland, what they call a privateer, doesn't have a sponsor one. This guy sponsors his own bike, works for a living, and spends every last dime plus whatever he can borrow, puts it in to keep it going. And isn't that the way with a lot of bikers? Oh, Sutherland just running a good dirt. Clock still running for Gustafson. It goes off at 8:574, 8:57.
Engineering. Still getting thrown around
Performance cycles mix. Buckley says, I want the left lane, so it comes over by the tower. 120 cubic inches tower side, 108 cubic inches of shovel head. On the spectator side, the Weekend Frame Company, American Performance, Vans Custom, and Burbank Auto and Truck, Oaklawn Harley Owners Group sponsoring the bike in the left lane. R&B Cycles, Nashville, Tennessee, and Hertz Garage in Nashville, the main sponsors on the bike in the right lane. A couple of different type frames you want to take a look at right now. Take a look at on the right-hand side. Here's a Truett frame with that tri-bar setup across the top. Now he's got his fuel tank underneath that. That's a newer Truett frame that doesn't have the top member as the rear head. Pre-stage, watching them vault in a tree. Pre-stage, left and right. Staged on the right, staged on the left. Good clean start. Oh, Thomas goes up again against the He does it. He goes out right at second. 5:59 on the right lane, 121.62. You rode that one. And a reaction time of 5:71. Buckley went out at a 5:70 now. A 5:70. Their 60-foot reaction time on Salman's bike was a 1:37. Buckley was already not that fast at 1:49, but that's when Salman's got a little bit squirrely again. Buckley almost had him, and Salman's just pulled it out and caught him at the end. A 5:59 at 121.62. Buckley showed us a 5:85 at 119.04, but that's what counts. Rick Salman's gets to come back one more time after two questionable passes here, the way this thing was going. Both times it seemed like that tire just started breaking on him, and the bike wanted to go a different way except straight. So the bike's putting out some power, but they have their problems steering it. Micro Mine aboard the Kevin Carey bike now, left lane from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Micro Mine with that 1112 at a 528 ET up against the 601 ET of Bill Gilbert. Gilbert hit a 573. That's what I was Romine, a 528. Romine says, I want that left lane. Evidently, the favorite lane today is seeming to be the left lane. That's what Micro Mine takes. Bill Gilbert from Worth, Illinois, with that 924 entry. That one is really hooking up today. Is a 96 cubic inch ironhead Sportster. One of those famous Sportsters, 3.5 inch by 5. I'll tell you what, the left-hand lane has got a 3 13/16 bore on it by a 5-inch stroke and punches. That went up to 125 cubic inches. Big Twin Cycle, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Romine Racing, Sturgis, Michigan, Hunt's Hawk Shop, sponsoring today's event from Lansing, Michigan, all sponsoring that bike. Bill Gilbert, sponsored by Roland Racing in Minneapolis. They call the bike on the right. But Bill Gilbert right on his tail with a 569. That bike is performing lately 128.93. 129 mile an hour pass in the right lane, 130 mile an hour pass in the left lane. That was close. Reaction time of 473 in that left lane. A reaction time of 463 in the right. Now Gilbert actually went out with a better reaction time to Micromine, but Micromine's bike just more powerful and just passed him up at the end, did a 538. Now there's a two-stage clutch in this, but only one two-stage clutch now with this, but it's a direct drive. Now you'll listen, you'll hear the weight stick over about halfway down. You'll hear the clutch slip when the bike leaves the line. About halfway down, you'll hear that clutch clamp up on it, and then you'll just hear it pulling away. Now listen real good. Even though it's a single speed, it's got a two-stage clutch in it.
We've seen you out there.
ATS Steel sponsoring. Oh, there it went. Well. Now the way this comes down with the breakage, wow. The way this comes down now, the way the tree works right now, 199 broke, that was on the buy. Now the winner of this one, between 3 and 82, would run 191, who was supposed to go out on the buy before, and then 1484 and 1112 run each other, and then 191 would have ran the winner of this one. Now what happens is the winner of this one goes on a buy run, it already puts him into the winner. This one goes all the way up to the second place without competition. He does the buy run next time in 1484, and 1112 got to take one or the other out, and they get to run the winner of this round. That's the way that works. So these guys, one of these guys just lucked in really good. One of these guys is going to make a lot of money, if nothing else, taking a second place, maybe first place on this one. It's a $2,500 first place today in this class. Bob Sutherland at number 82. Bob Sutherland, 82 Pro Fuel, right-hand lane. Paul Warner, number 3, Deer Park, Wisconsin. And the left lane, national number 3 plate holder.
They don't give a shit, though.
You got to do a 10 wins this week.
Everybody don't break the 10 wins, they make it.
I imagine there's a lot of money goes in between there.
You know our sponsors, though, they don't give a shit.
Looks like Sutherland. Holy smokers, in the right-hand lane, it's Bob Sutherland, a 548 and 127.84. 553 in the left lane, 119.68, but here it comes right now. Listen to this. The reaction time in the right lane of 543 with that 548 pass. Guess what? Left lane is 644. That was lost in the left lane with reaction time. 553 to 548 with the reaction time of Bob Sutherland of 543 up against Paul Warner 644. That went down to reaction time right now. Sutherland comes back with the buy run. He's going to make now, it guarantees him nothing less than a second place on this. Maybe not to make his pass in order to be eligible to go down again, but he'll get the run. The winner of this round. This is going to be good too. Micromine, these are probably the two fastest bikes right now that's left. The number 2 qualifier was the 199 or 191 that broke. So we got Micromine Rick Salmons now, one of the 2 fastest guys now, number 1 and number 3 qualifier. One of them's going to lose here, and one of them's going to come back and run Bob Sutherland. That's going to come out and make a buy run, so this is going to work out real well for Bob Sutherland, but not good for one of these guys. Rick Salmons, the 1484 entry, tower side, and he's been having them handling problems now the last couple of passes. That bike's putting on a lot of horsepower. It's been all over the track. Micromine from Kalamazoo, Michigan. From Kalamazoo, Michigan entry, Kevin Carey. That's the Big Twin Cycle Shop in Kalamazoo. Micromine Racing, they built the bike, and Micromine come out of Sturgis, Michigan, and Hunt's Hog Shop from Lansing, Michigan sponsored the bike. That's the one in the left-hand lane. Rich Salvas from Nashville, Tennessee. R&B Cycles from Nashville, Tennessee. Hertz Garage, Nashville, Tennessee, and Orangeburg Cycles, along with S&S and Barnett sponsoring the bike. I'll tell you what, these guys are hot right now. They're going good, and they're having problems keeping the bike on the ground. That's how much horsepower this 120-incher is making. 125 on the left. This is going to be really good. This could be one of the best runs of the day right now. Number 1 and number 3 qualifier. Number 2 qualifier took himself out. The number 191 bike. So we're looking at right now is one of the hot dogs right now going to take himself out. He'll come back, or whoever it may be, come back to run Bob Sutherland. You got to watch this close. Watch them lights. Quick late start. Oh, he's all over that track again. No, not this time by just a smidge. I'll tell you what. Micromine, a 541, 128.93, 551 for Salmons at 126.40. Salmons at a 562 reaction time now, 597 for Micromine. But I'll tell you what, went squirrely on him again. The Rick Salmons bike went a little bit squirrely on him. They couldn't control it this time, and that's where Micromine this time passed him on up. Man, Micromine with the slower, actually, the two bike passed him up. He gets to come back, and Salmons goes into the 3 spot. Wins, but Sutherland wants to go out with a partner. He just likes to race. Okay, the number 3 bike, the Mike Wygant bike, they want to come on here and run the thing. They say, hey, come on, let's go. Let's race it right now. So, no matter what happens with this, we got ourselves the number 82 machine. Bob Sutherland, Country Club Hills, Illinois, is going to be the winner on this one because this is actually a buy run. Finals, Bob Sutherland, he's a privateer. That's a guy that he just don't have any sponsors. He doesn't look for him. He don't care. He keeps the bike running. That's him. Him and the bike. We've been over by his house. He's got his nice, he's got a nice bi-level bungalow. He's got it converted to a machine shop. You walk into the machine shop. That's what it is. You see a Bridgeport, a lathe, the bike, refrigerator, bed, all that stuff. Yep, he lives motorcycles. Lane 128.57 to a 129.31. Sutherland's cooking. I'll bet you his heart's beating. Yes, he is. He wants to come back. He wants to run Micromine. Bob Sutherland from Country Club Hills, Illinois. Sturgis, I forget what it was, over a 4-day period, about 18 passes or something like that. This is another one we're running down the line while we get the guys behind him together. And we're going to let that fuel altered go out also. We'll let that guy run one more time. We'll let the car go out here and adjust the spoil one more time. This one here is Mike Hunter out of Madison, Wisconsin. This bike here is 108 cubic inches of 1992 Evolution Sportster. This is the one that's for sale. They want to build a bigger one. They don't want to touch this no more. This is 3 5/8 bore, 5 1/4 inch stroke. It's 108 inches. It's a 1992 Evolution Sportster. Pro ET Racing built the frame on it. That's the sponsor of the bike and Motorcycle Performance. They say we want a bigger one. They want to sell this bike right now. Anybody looking for a fast ride to work? There you go, right now. Maybe a fast ride to your second job, huh? How about it? Through the traps, just to the 6-second mark, 6:06. Oh man, 5-1. 111 engineering. They do engine building and development, dyno testing, custom fuel system, custom fabrication. They're putting that foil together on the car right now. They do welding, and that's David Terry. David Terry now that is piloting the car, Dave Terry. Performance engineering are in Gas City, Indiana. Let's watch it. Let's see a 4-second pass by unaltered. Yep, let's see what we got here. Boy, that thumps the windows in the floor on this Jack, I'll tell you right now. That's got some pizzazz to it. It is a small block Chevy, too. Small block Chevy. Put that whole setup in about a 53 Nash Ram where you'd have something. Yeah, no driver's license, about 6 months in jail. Yeah, huh? Wow, a 476, 143 miles an hour, a 4.7. There you go, a 476, 142.85. That's a ride. I wonder what his heart is doing right now. You think the adrenaline's pumped up? Yes, sir. A 476, 142.85, 143 mile an hour pass. I'll bet you the wind is coming across the front of that thing real good when it goes down.
Bobby Sutherland here in the finals. We got lane choice with a 540.
Each other a little bit, getting into a couple of flying games right now. Three stage, left and right, watch them walls, stage on the right, stage on the left, stage on the right, stage on the left. No, sir, the right lane at the last second pulls it off the 11-12 by 530 and 133.92 with a 516 reaction time to 543. Of Sutherland's reaction time was 557. There it goes, 543 and 122.28 for the $800.